Day one was a good run-in day, but that night there were problems with bikes. People had to work on them, get them sorted out, because day two from Albert into Esperance was a near 500k day.
Grey skies greeted the riders on day two of the 14-day classic. Everybody was eager to get going.
Oh, it won't rain today.
Look at that.
It'll never rain today.
Des eases the Apex transporter out of the car park, well ahead of the group.
Yeah, hopefully a little bit drier today than yesterday, but we were still warm anyway. But
how's the bike going?
Very good, very, very good. Very minimal maintenance, and hopefully it stays that way.
For Chris Wells, the battery saga continues.
Who knows how far they're all going to go?
The bikes might make it, but I don't know about the people.
It's flip a coin every day.
4 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, unfortunately we won't be running today. It's lack of oil, and it seized the front cylinder, and we're piston broke at the moment.
There's always someone in the event that falls off, and there's someone in the event that blows up. Unfortunately, this time it was myself. I had 8,000 mile on that bike with a motor that was as solid as anything, but without oil, they're going to die. And unfortunately, that was us.
Yesterday we had a bit of drama, lost the front brake cable coming downhill in the wet, trying to pull up behind a truck. In the end, we had to get old Fred Flintstone to help stop. Fred Flintstone. Anyway, as always, we get back.
I have to ask, how do you stop it?
Very slowly. It does eventually stop, but it takes quite some time. You've got to leave a lot of space, and you've got to anticipate what's coming about a K ahead. So it's not easy, but it stops. There's back brake, and it's got an inner and outer shoe on it, so twice the braking.
I bought it at auction in Melbourne. Originally came from Britain, Coventry I think it would have been, and they made singles and twins. They're pretty rare, so it's supposed to do 100 mile an hour, but I won't be doing that.
Just seeing you guys off, I reckon you got an awesome trip ahead, you know, it's really good, eh?
What's the story with the bike?
Oh, I bought it from Margaret River. It was like a ute full of 75% like basket case and all that about 10 years ago. And then, collecting for the last, 10 years, like bars and all that. States, local, whatever. Tried to get everything original as possible. In the last 6 months, put it together, and there you go.
Come on, get going.
The first couple of days were big days, and that was done by the fact that we needed to get people a certain distance so that we could make it all the way across the country in 14 days, but also we wanted to have a couple of bigger days to be able to sort the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, let people break down and work out the magnitude of the event that they had ahead of them and start taking it seriously. So those first 2 days were pretty big. The first day was about 380, 400 Ks, and the second day was close to 500 Ks. And it really shocked a lot of people.
Having a good day?
I did, until that little bit of rain came along, and I thought, will I stop? No, I kept going. Sunshine straight after it. I went, oh, thank heavens I didn't stop.
Don't you hate it when there's a man with a camera when you're trying to start it? Well, don't crack that. It's the kiss of the to start in a minute, so you bugger off.
Not me after all.
Our average speed was exactly 80 kilometres an hour. Nearly every bike has a sweet spot, and it was quite interesting. Douglas's 1933 VLD was about 85 kilometres an hour, and you can hear the bike. You don't need a speedo. You can hear the bike just goes quiet and it's just ticking along. Too slow, you're lugging the engine. We only have 3 gears. First gear is walking pace. Second gear is probably about 10 mile an hour. You can run along beside the second gear, and third gear is everything else. But generally 80 kilometres an hour is what we ask for. Whereas the next level up bikes, I noticed they were catching us, they were 15 minutes later, but by the first fuel stop, which was approximately every 100 kilometres, they were catching us, and that was the 45, the WLAs, the knuckles, the pans, etc.
How's the passenger?
Good. Yeah, she's travelling all right, aren't you, Leg?
Oh. Freedom. It's very good. Starting to meet some of the blokes, catch up with people. Everyone's got a story on why they're here and how they got here. Everyone's safe so far, so that's great.
Just needs a bit of a throttle adjustment, and we're right on the track. We had a broken battery cable back down the road, and the points closed up, so we stopped and got them fixed, and here we are. On time and only 300 k's to go.
We took as a backup bike just for anyone to go dart off somewhere. We took my late model bike. If that had a problem, I need a laptop computer and a bunch of spanners that weren't even thought of when most of our bikes were made to be able to do anything to it. Whereas the old stuff, you'd probably get by with 3 or 4 shifters and a couple of screwdrivers, and you'd be able to do most things, probably not technically correct, but you'd be able to get by.
Do you like it? I only did it last night, it was all right. I just checked it, it was all right. She's closed up a bit. I mean, put a bit of grease on the ramp maybe.
Bit of number 8 fencing wire off the side of the road. Odd cocky might be a little annoyed, but you know, you can fix most things on the side of the road.
Spark plug leads come off the top of the spark plug. And this is broken.
Right, back together.
So we're going to try and wire it on.
Call the RACV.
There's plenty of time in the day.
Well, I'm not doing 70 kilometres an hour. It's not. We've got to get there by 4.
Faith, have faith.
And, I don't believe any of the bikes suffered that day, and that was fortunately about the only really bad day of the entire trip. But the one good thing that came out of it, and many of us discussed it later on, we had a fairly cool trip. And when you're running old flathead cast iron engines and heads and cylinders, that's good. They don't like the heat. The heat is bad for them. So we had the fact that it was cool and that most of the trip was cool was great.
It's a big day in the office today. There's a few of them broken down on the side of the road, but we got in. We had a few problems, but nothing we couldn't fix ourselves on the side of the road, so yeah.
It was tough. Yeah, no, it was tough. I think everybody slept real well afterwards. There wasn't too many people up at night time having a few beers, that's for sure.
The old girls lasted the whole journey today. No drama. Bloody good.
The first 3 or 4 days until you get bike fit and your body's used to sitting in the saddle for so long, particularly a solo saddle like these bikes have. They're not as comfy as they should be. I think we were pretty well prepped, so it wasn't too bad. So probably 2 or 3 days in, most of us were pretty comfortable with the ride.
Yeah, it is. It's a cushion for your ass.
You got a spare?
I don't know how good they work, but Joe's going to find out tomorrow.
Looks good to me.
Yep.
Yeah, good. Yeah, had a ball today.
Yeah.
But a long way. It was a big ride, so I lost my battery, but found it again.
Stage 2, which was 480 kilometres, saw 68 riders complete the course, with 42 still on full points. And the actual first 5 remained unchanged, with Chris Wells on his 1924 HD, followed by George Hammond on 1927 Harley, followed by 2 Indians, and finally Dave Reedy on a 1928 Harley.
Fucking snake, I get the tension up and I'm going, oh, I'm about to lose it. Quick, get over near the dirt. I'd rather roll in the dirt than the tar, you know?
What happened?
Got a blowout at 80 kilometres an hour. 55 mile an hour I was doing. Boom, the whole rear end went, I was like a stunt man. But I kept it together. Of course you do. Absolutely love it.
About 100k before Aspen I broke down. Yeah, it just stopped and smoke everywhere. Lucky we brought the spare bike, so I was still able to ride.
Burn a hole in the piston, yeah, not ideal. End of competition change up. There's no real fixing that on the road or anywhere else. Oh look, we just got the pan head out. That was that had been running all right previously as well, but not long ago had an engine rebuild, so we were pretty sure that was going to make it. It's another bike at least Bebby was still able to ride. Competition part of it not so important. It's more the riding thing.
Ready. Right, you're here.